Hello, I'm Toycat, and one of the very first features they decided to include in 1.17 Snapshots was this brand new ore copper, and you might have seen some amazing builds out of copper that make you excited to mine it and do some of these for yourself, and therefore you might question, okay, I find some copper on my world, how many copper blocks can I make with this 9 copper that I just mined? And your answer would be 1. You can make 1 copper block, and as a result of requiring 6 copper blocks to make 4 stairs, if you want to make something like this delightful pirate ship, you're going to need 54 of these individual copper ores if you want to make yourself some stairs. And I'm being serious here. We have 8 furnaces. Let's throw, a nice just under stack of copper into each of those. And let's show you how after mining a full, almost stack of copper ore, let's show you how after using 8 furnaces and loading them all up, and then waiting 8 seconds for every single copper ingot to smelt, because that's how long it takes. In other words, 8 of these will take you more than a minute to smelt, and that's with 8 furnaces doing the job for you. Spread those copper ingots evenly across a crafting table, because there's 9 of those required for a block, and you get your 6 copper blocks. Then you might assume you can take those copper blocks and you can make them into some stairs, but I'm just kidding. You have to make cut copper first, and by the time you make cut copper, you actually can't make any of these other things. So in reality, even 54 ingots isn't enough to make stairs. If you only want to make 4 of them, we're going to have to go mine for another 18 copper ore, which, fortunately, they do spawn in veins, so we can do that easily enough. But that's how much you're actually going to require if you want to get some stairs. 54 copper ingots if you have lots of them, or if you just want to make 1 batch, it's even more required at 72 because you have to make cut copper first. Can you tell me that is a reasonable response? I feel like it's not. If you can tell me you think this is a reasonable process to get the amount of copper required just to make a few stairs, I'm not entirely sure that I agree with you. I think that copper is too expensive, and I have a few other key concerns about the first 1.17 snapshot that I feel like we need to get out there, so let's do precisely that in today's video. Also, look, we're finally here. We got our 4 cut copper. All of that effort later, and we have 4 stairs. How many stairs did it require to make that boat that we all liked? Well, let's choose not to answer that question. So before we talk about and examine the flaws that probably do need to be fixed, let me just point out there is technically a mild solution that comes from a fun Bedrock exclusive they added, a while back, and that is that, yeah, you can throw your cut copper... Oh, you can't. So before we talk about all those flaws and the various fixes that I think are essential for 1.17 based on what we've seen so far, again, see feedback that Mojang is soliciting themselves. They've even made a new section of the Feedback Minecraft website specifically for 1.17, and I'd like to add my 2 cents to the hat, not only because of the fact that, okay, the clear, thing that I left out was the stone cutter. You can go with the stone cutter and you can throw your cut copper in there, except, you can't throw your cut copper in there, but that's because it has to be uncut, right? Nope, stone cutters will not allow you to cut copper blocks, and obviously it's not a stone block, I guess, so therefore it doesn't make sense to go on there, but it means that this expensive recipe for cut copper stairs, there isn't a way to avoid it that we know of yet. It will genuinely just take you a minimum of 54 ingots to get every 4 stairs that you want to get. Thousands of copper blocks have to be mined, in other words, and 1,080 copper blocks would have to be mined to get you 80 stairs. Barely a stack of these stairs, which again, you're going to need if you want to make a roof, like the example Mojang showed themselves, are going to require you to mine 1,000 of these blocks. And, even though copper is a frequently spawning block that does have veins, that maybe there's some strategy in finding, I think having to mine 1,000 blocks might be a bit too many. So, there are 2 easy solutions to this. One is to change the recipe. The problem with that, though, is that, if you look at the recipe for things like iron blocks, an iron block recipe is 9 iron. It seems weird for copper blocks to be made from 4 copper. I totally get that. So the second solution to this, in my opinion, is to make it quite easily so that you can get more than 1 block of copper for every, for every copper ore that you mine. Right now, you get these copper blocks, and these copper ore blocks, and there is no way to convert these to more than 1 copper ingot. I think that in the same way, if you have a fortune pickaxe, you can mine coal or diamonds or redstone and get a significant increase. I think there should be an enchantment like that for pickaxes and smelting, so when you mine gold ore, like you can right now, you should get more than 1 amount of gold if you mine it with that auto smelt enchantment. That would be pretty cool, or maybe it could even just be like a fortune for the ore blocks themselves. Again, I think auto smelting fits the Minecraft theme better, but the fact that iron ore, gold ore, and now copper ore are disadvantaged in a way that redstone, lapis lazuli, diamonds, emeralds, and even coal aren't, it just seems like a very arbitrary spin on it. And again, the logic is meant to be that these coal ore blocks or these gold ore blocks or whatever, obviously obviously you have to smelt them to separate them, but we should have some furnace or some way to get more, out of these than you can out of those other blocks, because otherwise there is a severe disincentive. So with that out of the way, I think, you should obviously give an extra smelting enchantment, but the other kind of issue that the copper stairs, rises with is, why exactly can we make copper into these various materials, but we can't make gold, which, by the way, it's worth mentioning, gold is one of the most malleable materials, right? Okay, I googled it, and gold is not only a malleable metal, it's the most malleable metal. If there is going to be a way to, take something and turn it into a block, why isn't it gold? Why is it copper first? So, there's a little bit of a logical fail there. I feel like, if we're going to have copper stairs and we're going to have copper slabs, gold stairs and gold slab, and then if we're going to do that, why not have iron stairs and iron slabs? We can totally understand why diamond blocks might be very hard to turn into stairs and slabs, but I don't see a very good argument for why we can't take our gold and turn that into some stuff, and if you can see it, then I'd love to know what that is. And while we're talking about enchantments, let's talk about the other thing that copper does, because that's also not very useful right now, because here is the Spyglass. I obviously tore this apart in my snapshot, video, and I mean, obviously, for a cave update, it seems a bit weird to have this, but it's also the Caves and Cliffs update, so let's go find a cliff. Wow, look how the snow is snowier than before. Except it's actually not. All of the cave update features have come to Java, and all of the cliff update features have come to Bedrock so far. I wonder if that's intentional. Anyway, so let's go to a cliff where you can clearly see more render distance is most needed up here. So, it might be great if you can zoom in to get that render distance, except no, for some reason you can't. Especially for players who play with low render distances, which on Java, bear in mind that, particular, platform requirements mean that you might need to do that. I mean, here's what I'm playing on right now, and I know many people who have to play on lower amounts than this, because Java is very resource hungry, and, players with low render distances who want to see a little further, just kind of can't. Even the fog that generates is still perfectly visible, which means I can barely see 8 chunks away, and the truth is, I can see exactly as well through my Spyglass as I can see without it, because the same lack of mob rendering in is going to be true. I mean, is there a chest up there? There totally is, but from here, I can't see it. Actually, is there a chest up there? I genuinely don't know, because I wouldn't be able to tell you, and, that's pretty wild on this level, but the fact that you don't get a slight render distance zoom or something like that makes the Spyglass kind of questionable. So if we assume that, okay, there's a technical reason why you can't do that. I don't think there should be, but, let's just assume, for technical performance reasons, we can't do that, even when you have your render distance on the max, by the way. It's weird that the max on the Java edition is 32 chunks, and it, it makes... My fans are making some very loud noises right now, despite the fact that you can run over 100 pretty comfortably on the Bedrock edition, but you can see how the world is loading in, but my looking with a telescope is not aiding that loading in at all. I mean, I can still see the same stuff, whether it's there or not, and again, that maybe we can say there's technical reasons, so we just can't do that, that's fine, and okay, I'll accept that, maybe, right? But the thing that I think you should be able to do then, if you're going to have a Spyglass that is only for visual purposes, only if I want to look is that really a spruce tree? Yes, it is. Wow, look how cool that is. I mean, there is some fun rendering happening here, don't get me wrong, it is also they're doing something clever with this, it's just a zoom feature, but it's a fun one. But then I think that there should be a extra use for the telescope, for players who want to have some fun with it. So here's an idea. When I look at these pigs over here, perhaps those pigs should be highlighted in some way. You know how the spectral arrow enchantment works? Of course you do. It's fun, it's glowy, only works on Java right now, but that's fine. When you look at a pig, perhaps it should glow like that, kind of like you've spotted it, and then anyone who's around you could maybe see it in the same way. Could be a great way for multiplayer servers to recommend that, kind of tag something like you do in many multiplayer games. And in case you think, oh, well, actually, that doesn't make any sense. It's not Minecrafty to have this magic effect just using a telescope. Okay, then, what if we made the Spyglass, this fun copper crystal hybrid, what if we made this enchantable? What if there was an enchantment, the spotting enchantment, that would allow you to see things and allow you to spot them for your teammates for X amount of time? Maybe it's 10 seconds at level 1, 20 seconds at level 2, 30 seconds at level 3. Boom, there we go. Now we've made something fun from this, because right now, besides just being goofy and being I'm a pirate and I'm role-playing in the Minecraft, arr, there's pigs right ahead at 6 o'clock, or whatever, like you're doing right there. By the way, 6 o'clock, is that relative to where you are? Does that mean people have to know, I guess 6 o'clock would be behind you on your 6, but, I feel like the clock directions are only useful if you know what direction the person saying them is. Am I being obvious here, or is there a flaw in the clock system? But, I don't know, because I don't roleplay as a pirate Navy SEAL enough, and you know what? maybe without reasons to use this Spyglass, maybe I just never will. So that's my second big concern of this update. My third biggest concern with this update, and really Copper in particular, because I'm really excited about new ores in Minecraft, but I think it's important we do them right, and that's why I need to mention just a weird third consequence of this new thing. And let's give myself a new crafting table, because my mouse is it doesn't have distinct right and left click buttons, it just guesses what I want to do. Let's not complain about my mouse. Let's complain about the fact that if we take some lightly weathered cut copper, which for the record, if we look at this block right here, I see some of the charm in this, but I also think it's not a particularly, pretty block by itself. I know why it needs to exist, but sure, fine, it's a thing. So let's take some of these blocks and let's turn them into stairs, shall we? Or slabs if we want to. But let's turn these blocks into some stairs, make a nice little stair pattern, and really enjoy it. See what I mean about not knowing what right and left click is on my mouse? So then we've got some lightly weathered cut copper stairs. And then let's say we want to make sure it stays in this form. Again, I can't imagine very often that you would want to keep this around, but maybe you're going for like old and charming and kind of worn down. So you really want to keep these stairs in this color when they weather. So what you would do is you'd throw some honeycomb in there with your stairs. And when you combine them, you get the waxed, lightly weathered cut copper stairs. This is Minecraft's longest title. I added up the characters yesterday. I think we got to 36 characters, which is crazy because the previous longest one, I think it was polished blackstone. Cracked polished blackstone bricks, I think was the longest title we had before this. It was kind of already kind of long. 4 descriptors for a word. In this case, they're like waxed, lightly weathered, cut, copper, and then stairs. It is 4 descriptors for a word, and the reason that this is a problem is, it doesn't matter if Minecraft wants to have long titles, but they then need to admit that, okay, Minecraft, item length names have gone a bit too long, maybe we should fix that. And the reason they should do that is because if we go to an anvil and we try to name our own block, let's say we want to pretend that these cut copper stairs are waxed lightly, let's try and type it right now. Let's see if I can remember that off the top of my head. Wax, lightly weathered, I believe, cut, copper, and then stairs. Oh, and what's that? I physically cannot give them a long enough title. This is the longest Minecraft will let you name any item, and it's wild that, the rules that should apply to the rest of us don't apply to making new items. And, again, in reality, I think that, sure, this item needs to exist. Maybe with a shorter name would be my ideal, but if you want to keep it fully descriptive, if you want to admit that, there are no typos at Mojang, I shouldn't point this out, but this obviously this is a snapshot, it's fine. But look how the K is capitalized here. It's the grammar police coming and telling you what's wrong, Mojang. But no, I think seriously, as players, it's important that we should have access to the same length of titles. Or if you think that this is as long as any player title should be, maybe you shouldn't give blocks a names like this. Literally, if I wanted to name it anything else, I can't even. This is as long as it lets me go because of the capital letters. I can only name it waxed, lightly weathered cut copper. And it means that there's some very bizarre, weird incentives that come out of that. I've mentioned item names at length in previous videos. Not as at length as this, block has its title. See, even look how long it looks without the stairs even. It takes up more than the hotbar alone, and that's before we get to its full title. It's ridiculous, maybe just a little bit. And that's the third and final thing it fixed. Obviously, there's a lot of other cool things I'd like to see about this update, but I think it's a snapshot, it's a work in progress. I think even these things can be fixed, but the key things to take away from this, my key kind of criticisms here, are that the Spyglass needs to have something special about it. You can't just have it be a zoom in, because then it's objectively worse. Optifine, that also has it takes time to go in, it only gives you a circle. The screen is messy because of that white blur, and it's not even fun. So make it enchantable, perhaps. Enchantments are fun in Minecraft. Would give people more reasons to enchant weird, quirky tools rather than just essential tools. Maybe that's a good design goal, maybe it's not. I think pickaxes need an enchantment to match fortune, because there's been this big unfairness in how mining works, and given how many copper blocks we're going to have to mine if we want to build these things legit, otherwise it just becomes mostly a creative block, and that's a shame, because this is a block that should represent some beauty in your Minecraft world, in my opinion, that should represent some actual mining. Right now there's no way to farm copper that exists, so it's a mining-based block that can show off your mining skills. I like that, that's fun. But yeah, I think we need to have enchantments for both those things. And then ideally, if you've got some spare time, maybe we could address the length of names that are coming to Minecraft. And that's all I'm saying. And also, I think we should address what is it that makes a, if you look at the stairs in Minecraft, the rule that they said forever was it has to be either a wood or a stone crafted material. I am not a geologist, and if you are, let me know if I'm entirely wrong here, but copper is not stone. Copper is metal, and if you're going to have metal, why can't I have gold stairs? Why is there only gold blocks? Where are my gold stairs? Where are my iron stairs? I don't see why these things don't exist. Again, that's just a fun little secondary nature. There's no block item limit. I think gold stairs will look so cool, and that's why this video is a call for let's make copper make sense. If we're gonna have copper in the game, and it's gonna be the only ore, let's at least use it to make the game better, rather than just marginally harder for people who want to build using existing blocks. Like this delightful wax, lightly weathered, cut copper stair block. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, you can like it and let me know. If you didn't, then you can not like it, because that lets me know. Oh, if you don't have a HUD turned on, you just zoom in, kind of like Optifine. I think I just found something fun and cool right there. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, because I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Oh, this is cool. I could do this all day.